This is a regular meeting of the Architecture Board of Review, December 1st, 2020. This is actually going to be our last meeting this year. Am I right? Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. Okay. So, want to call the order, Mike? Call the roll?
Yes. Member Deegan.
Here.
Member Kerouac.
Here.
Member Waymeyer.
Here.
Member Dittmer.
Here.
Member Callahan.
Here.
And Chair Hunter.
Here.
And Member Dahlman is absent.
Okay. Well, next order of business is the minutes of October 6th. Did we not have a November meeting?
No,
No.
I have
November, day
November
after
minutes
election.
yeah.
We had, yeah.
I have November
we
4th
look
minutes in my packet.
Well, how are they? I got October's.
You got October's? How'd that happen?
Yeah.
Did everyone get
I didn't get a chance to go
October's?
back to the other.
I've got October as well.
Oh, I have no typos.
Never mind, I'm reading the wrong line. I've got November. So how about November's?
I was just gonna say, do we always say that they were in the Village Hall boardroom even though we were remote? I didn't get a chance to go back and look at other packets. I don't know if it really matters, but I just thought I'd ask.
That is a good question. The minutes have said what they say. Maybe we should say, and I am holding it here in the boardroom, where someone from the public could potentially join in person. But perhaps in the future we should say in the boardroom and via Zoom, because we're doing both. To be clear, I'll look into that.
I didn't have any other comments.
There were a couple of typos. That was my only comment.
Anybody else have any comments? Ed wasn't there. Matt wasn't there. Neil's not here.
Looks good to me.
Huh?
Looks good to me.
Okay. Well, then we need a motion to approve the minutes. And the second. Anybody?
Motion to approve.
Second?
A second.
Okay, good. Roll call, Mike.
Okay. Member Deegan.
Aye.
Member Kerouac.
Can I approve if I wasn't there? If so, aye.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Member Waymeyer.
Aye.
Member Dittmer.
Aye.
Member Callahan.
Aye.
And Chair Hunter.
Aye.
Okay, minutes are approved.
Okay. Moving on. So I'm assuming there's no non-agenda items. Nobody's up there.
I do not see.
Down the door or
Right, I do.
online anywhere.
Let's see, there is, I'm going to allow the attendees to talk. I'm guessing they're both, whoops, I'm sorry, allowed to talk. And I'm guessing they are both here for the agenda items, but you can double check, Bob, to ask if there's anybody here for non-agenda items.
Is anybody in the audience for non-agenda items?
Okay, there does not appear to be. I'm seeing no signal that there is.
All right. Okay, so the first issue was a consideration of a sign permit for J.C. Licht at 413 West Washington Avenue. And that's under construction as we speak. Any comments to that? Or is there a presentation in that, Mike?
Yeah, so we have, I think Mark Satala is on the line. Mark, go ahead if you'd like to give us a presentation or tell us about what you'd like. Of course, the members do have your drawings in the packet.
Hi, my name is Mark Satala. I'm with LaGrange Sign and Lighting. J.C. Licht recently renovated their building in Lake Bluff and added an entrance on the side, which looks like a street, but I'm told it's more of a driveway to an industrial couple buildings. They'd like to add a sign as that's the entrance to their business on the east side of the building, which is not a street. It would be their second sign because they already have one on the south side.
So they have two signs here for your approval, a face change to the existing cabinet on the south side and a proposed new sign on the east side. And so they are asking for a variance because as a building that fronts only one street, they're only calculated as one in the code, even though their main entrance is not facing the street in the new configuration.
Anybody have any comments?
It'd be nice. Oh, I'm
Sorry.
sorry.
Go ahead,
My-
somebody. Julie?
Okay. It'd be nice if the tops of the two signs aligned. So when you.
Well, they're different sizes. If you'd like the tops to align, that's actually very easy. It probably is already going to be that way anyways, the way I'm looking at it. One's,
Couldn't tell that from the photo.
yeah, it's not, I don't have a corner photo drawing. But I can make sure that happens when we install the side sign. That's easy.
Anybody else?
I was just gonna ask, are there gonna be any other signs that go inside that main entrance, like an open sign or anything else that indicates that it's an entrance, to help to identify that? Because obviously the other door on the front of the building that faces the street doesn't appear to be the main entrance, especially when you see that big, glass feature. Seems as though there would be some sort of a sign within there indicating that, because if this is an exemption, it just, there's, as far as being able to identify the building and where it's at and what it is, you're going to see it very clearly from the road from either direction on the front of the building. And so having a sign on the side of the building doesn't necessarily help, and it's pretty clear where the main entrance is. And so just didn't know if we needed to grant the exemption for the reason to indicate it's the main entrance on the side.
So you're looking for something else that indicates that the entrances are on the side and not on the front, correct?
I'm just thinking that somehow there's going to end up being some additional signage that's going to be needed in your side entrance there. You're going to end up putting something there, and even if you don't, you're only allowed one sign on the building, and the sign on the side of the building doesn't help with visibility to identify your building or your space, because
Right.
all your vision corridors are to the front of the building and then down back towards 41.
I agree, because no one is going to see the side sign and think, oh, there's J.C. Licht. They're going to see that front sign immediately, and then, figure out that the entrance is actually on the side. I don't know what they're going to put in as far as maybe window vinyl or something. There are no plans for secondary, like arrows or anything, to indicate, hey, go around the corner. But at some point, something's going to have to go in the front window to say, hey, entrance on side. But I have nothing on my scope of work here to put any other kind of signs in the building other than this one face replacement on the other side.
I think it's an issue. You can't make the decision. If somebody had to choose between one side or the other, which way would they go? Everybody, including myself, has been going in and out the door on the street side for years.
Right.
That's a habit that's not going to change unless you brick it up. And I imagine that's going to be an emergency exit.
Well, would you want some kind of something made to the front sign, existing front sign that says entrance on side, entrance around corner? Because that sign hasn't been made, and we can always add it to that on the bottom of that cabinet, entrance around corner. Although I think most of the people that go here are probably long-time contractors that come here every day.
And they'll keep going to the same door and wonder why it's locked.
Probably. Probably. At least for a while. So at this point, I can do anything you suggest. If you say you want something indicating on the front sign to go around the corner, and I'll make it happen.
Yeah. Anybody else have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I agree that I think I was kind of concerned that they were two different signs kind of being on the same corner. I would have wanted kind of that narrower sign on on both sides. If you're going to do both sides, I would have wanted the newer one on both sides. I don't think having one proportion on one side and one on the other made sense. But I kind of agree, well, not kind of, but I agree that I don't think for this small of a business and that you need two big signs. You're not grabbing two different client, you're not getting people participating in the building from two different directions. So
Right.
I do think that, and I don't think it's our place to tell you how to get people there. I wouldn't want it on this sign. I think that's not sophisticated to put it on that main sign. It might just be something on the door saying go to the side or something, but
Like
I
a piece
wouldn't
of
put
vinyl or
anything on
something.
this illuminated sign to indicate. I think that cheapens the sign.
I would agree. Now, the existing sign is 48 square feet. The one they're proposing is actually 36 square feet. It is smaller. If you want me to take it down even smaller than that, that's up to you. It isn't the main sign that they're going to see, but it is their entrance.
Does the street sign, which is the larger sign, does that have to be that big? That's just basically what it is right now.
That's the existing sign. We're just changing the face in there.
You're just changing the face
So that's already there.
to make that, to make that two sides match is the smaller sign, which I think is what Matt was talking about. That's basically buying a whole new sign.
Yeah, so I think what Julie is saying is we just eliminate that new sign and then just reface the existing sign. Is that correct? Is that the
That
way?
is correct. It's
Yeah.
because there's no need to have that extra sign there and it's not allowed.
Yeah, yeah.
What about an awning over the new storefront windows to kind of call that out as the entry? If I'm reading the elevation right, they've got the pair of doors and a big glass storefront. Now, if you did an awning over that, that would kind of solve the problem, I think, and you would see that. I'm not trying to design it but it's just a suggestion, it's just a thought instead of that additional sign.
I think that natural light is what they were looking for. That big. Can you see me? I mean, this is a little awkward. You can see me or you can't see me?
No.
No, you can't.
Okay.
No.
I keep looking at my papers and I'm wondering if I can't see.
No,
I see Mike twice.
So I could ask them funding, but I'd imagine that based on all the other J.C. Licks we've done, that they're going to say a hard no on that.
Okay.
But I can adjust the signs. I can, if you want to replace the front sign with a sign similar to the side sign, that I can propose.
I just,
Are you there? I'm sorry, I lost you.
yep, no, you're fine. I just promoted you to panelist. I thought maybe that would make you visible if you were trying to
Okay.
be visible for us to see you. But now you're in
No,
as
I
a
can,
panelist, but we still can't see you. We can only hear you. Huh.
Okay. We can replace, if you want to replace the front sign with another sign that's smaller, like the one we're proposing on the side, 2 3x12s, we can do that. Keep them uniform. They definitely want something by their entrance. That one wall to the left of the entrance is the perfect spot to, hey, this is our entrance, this is our store. I do have one more thing, and I wonder if I can raise this now. There is a pylon sign that it looks like it's been there for 30, 40 years that has non-illuminated panels on there. The top spot is actually vacant. They'd actually like to take a spot in there, in that vacant spot. You don't have drawings. This is just kind of brought to me today. Probably have to go to an additional meeting, talk about this, but they do want that third sign too. And it's already existing. It's already been there for the other 3 tenants, other 3 buildings. They're in that space.
And just FYI for the ABR members, there's a 20-foot height limit for ground signs measured from the ground to the top of the pole on that sign, and so that might exceed the 20-foot limit, which would mean you'd have to recommend granting an exception to the sign code to the village board for it to be approved for that sign. But of course, we don't
It's
have to
definitely
go
over 20 feet,
either.
but it's been there a long time.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't doubt that. Yeah, very true.
That piece of property, was next to the village, well, some years ago when the post office was over there in the corner. And I don't think we had that sign code then. So
Okay,
it wasn't actually even in Lake Bluff.
okay.
I guess, to me, I like Matt's idea where you have the two equal signs straddling the corner, but a third sign on that thing seems like a lot. So that's my 2 cents, so.
Okay. So would you approve 2 signs that were the similar size, 2 3x12s?
I personally don't have a problem with that. I see why everyone's saying it seems excessive, but if they're the same at least, and they're smaller, I could be on board with that. I would be fine with that.
Yeah, I could too. I would make the 2 smaller, and, I'd set the one that's on the east side so that the top of the sign lined up with the head of the opening, and then the same with, just move the other one around down.
Here around the corner, yep.
Yeah, I agree.
I could go for that. That's a new sign, but otherwise I don't see doing it that way.
It's kind of more uniform, actually, if you do it that way.
Yeah, and I think it'd be a tough sell to put something on the top of that other signpost, that other, whatever they call that now, monument sign.
Okay. I'll note that one too.
Couldn't they indicate the opening by treating the ground in front of the entry door, either pylons or striping to indicate that's the entrance?
I'm sure they're going to do something with the parking lot. When I was there, there was a big dumpster, and you can see in my photos, that's what I saw. Those were old parking
That's
spots.
the way it was when I was there, and it's pretty nasty in there. There's all kinds of trucks that go in and out of there, so.
It looks like a busy industrial area.
Landscaping.
Well, not landscaping, but something to indicate that's where you should walk.
Well, I think a simple fix would be to continue that row of bushes kind of in front of the door, and then put a new sidewalk that leads along the side of the building towards the new entrance. So people can't walk right up to that door.
Yeah.
They're forced to go to the other side, and, there's a secondary walk there.
Yeah, okay.
Right, yep.
So you see the bushes on that are there already. I think those are bushes, right? And that kind of indicates the entrance, but.
Yeah, so I would just, continue the bushes, take the sidewalk up, continue the bushes across, and then just do a new sidewalk at that existing door along the building towards the new entrance side. Because I'm sure they still want that exit.
I don't know if they do.
Aren't they putting a new glass door there?
Well, that even makes the situation worse.
Yeah.
There's a new glass entry door there. Dark run match existing.
That's true.
Oh, yeah. That makes.
Well, then that's an entryway too, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, if they're not. So.
Maybe that's for employees only, though.
Well, that's where most of the parking is.
Yeah.
You want to be out of the way, you park right there. Otherwise, you risk being hit by something going by.
Yeah. Well, that's more their issue then, I think. If they're creating that as a prominent entrance door, then they can deal with that, right? I mean.
Yeah, then one questions how many people are actually going to use the other door.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems.
But that's beyond the purview of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So my job is to get these both approved, like as is. I mean, and it's you tell me if you want me to switch them to, take that front sign down. Obviously, it's more money that they're gonna have to pay. and it's a smaller exposure. But they definitely want something on the side.
Yeah, I would say go with what, we talked about earlier, where it's the two smaller signs if we have to have two signs. And lower them down at the same height, and they match the head of the, grand opening.
Yeah.
Could we do this? Could we increase the side sign to match the front sign? Just bring it
No.
out there, they're gonna ask.
Yeah,
No,
that,
the front sign is really big. It's as big as the window below it.
It's 48 square feet versus 36.
Yeah,
So
if you-
it's 25% bigger.
I would not vote for that. That's making them both big. Instead of both small.
I'm on board with Matt's suggestion.
I am too. Well, anybody else anybody want to make a motion on something so we can move this thing forward?
I wanted just to clarify, so if we do the two signs that are, not increased in size, the two smaller signs of 36 square feet, then we're not going to entertain a pylon or a monument sign also so that there's three signs. Is that correct?
Well, we all know where that would be. Another sign that's off the building actually would be okay. I don't know what the property situation is out here. Where is the property line? You know.
but it seemed like, do they want to add to that monument sign or whatever we're calling it?
Well, that I would, that already exceeds code, because
Right.
I'm guessing that precedes that piece of property being incorporated into Lake Bluff.
Yeah.
Right.
And
may
that's
well
a
have-
giant sign. There's a limit, we're not the village of giant signs if we can help it.
Right, yeah. But they were allowed to put something on a corner or something, right, if it's on the lot, on their lot?
Yeah, I think so, Mike, wouldn't they be?
Well, so the code allows one monument sign. It can be, or one ground sign. It can be a multi-tenant sign, but to comply with the code, they would have a maximum of one sign per the property for as many tenants as they want to use it, and it would be no more than 20 feet tall.
Okay.
How many tenants are in that one building?
4.
There's two, right?
4.
Oh, there's 4.
Yeah.
So could J.C. Licht propose one small monument sign for just their space?
Well,
Or would they have to talk to everyone else in the building?
yeah, so that would, right now, there's that existing ground sign there, so if J.C. Licht were proposing one of their own, that would be the second ground sign on the lot, so that'd be a variance because that'd be 2 ground signs on the same lot, so that would need an exemption from the sign code. And probably not a good idea. It's better to have a consistent plan for all the tenants, of course.
So could we come back to do the top spot in that pole? Because it does exceed the height.
You can apply for that, yeah, and this board can consider, making a recommendation on the variance for exceeding the height. I guess you can listen to comments from the members for feedback on your odds of getting that approved, but you're certainly allowed to apply for it.
Okay.
Would
I get
that
it.
still include the 2 signs on the building?
Well, first thing we'd like to get the second sign approved in one form or another, and then they're going to have me come back to that pylon because that's been talked about. For me to go up and take care of that, measurements and get pictures and put together drawings. So
Do we
right now,
want to,
pardon me?
can we comment on that now so you're not wasting time?
I like that.
Go ahead,
Or
man.
is that not?
No, I think it's appropriate.
Yeah, I don't think, because you're gonna have 3, I can see with the other ones, there's no other signs in that area, but you're gonna have 3 J.C. Licht signs within, 20 feet of each other.
Okay.
I see that redundant, and besides that, I don't think there's any way that we would extend that those poles another 5 feet to put another sign on. You know, I can't see that path. Well, I would not.
Well, he wasn't asking to make the poles taller.
There's just a vacant spot, a space in the top from someone that must have moved out.
So
So you would take that top spot out?
Right.
Okay, I'm sorry.
yeah, apparently I used a Google Earth photo for the packet. Apparently the top sign has recently been removed, I guess.
Oh, okay.
But I think that apparatus is still over 20 feet tall.
Yes,
It's
correct.
at least 25, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And again, that sign, just by the way it's designed, is a pretty commanding sign, which is what I'm sure they want it to be. But it doesn't really tell me anything except that there's a paint store someplace.
Yeah.
And so it starts to really get. I agree with Matt. You know, we get 3 big signs within 20 feet of each other. I just don't. I don't see it.
Okay.
I also agree. I would say if we approved to have the 2 building signs and give the exemption for having the additional sign, I would definitely not entertain adding a 3rd sign on the pylon or monument.
Okay. I will tell them that, and I'm sure that'll.
Could they come back and say they're gonna redo that monument sign and that to adhere to code at 20 feet? Like if they just totally redid it, would we be open to that? To get it into compliance and then add that J.C. Licht down there?
You know, Matt, a couple minutes ago, you said that there'd be 3 signs that say the exact same thing within 20 feet, and I think that's still the case.
Yes.
I know, I'm just thinking if I was them, I would say, okay, let's do a code compliant and then go. I'm just looking at all options for them so that they're not wasting time doing even that, if that's something.
Well, that would still require an exemption, right?
No, the pole sign, I mean, we would have presumably granted the exemption for 2 wall signs already. The ground sign, if they bring it under 20 feet, it could be done without an exemption.
Of course, they don't own that pylon sign.
Correct.
I doubt it, and they'd have to get with all the other tenants
They
to
have
kind
to
of
get all the
redo all the other
tenants
ones.
to buy into it.
Yeah,
Right.
Signs.
The other thing worth mentioning here is that, with our new sign code regulations, they also do give the landlord the option to draft master sign plan for the property and get that approved and not make each individual tenant come through for approval every time too. But that would require the landlord to go to the work of drafting a master sign plan in order to do that.
I don't know that any of the other tenants in there have public coming to them. I don't know that they don't either, but.
So we could approve this with the additional signs, and they could come back in a month with a monument sign at height with another J.C. Licht, and we couldn't do anything about it. Is that correct?
Right, they would require your, approval for the appearance of the sign, but it would meet code, so it doesn't seem like you could really prevent them from doing it.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just curious.
I'll tell you what, I mean, I'm looking at this picture that Mike sent, and, this sign is electrified, and it's a pair of cables running from the corner of the building. This is Bush League.
It is.
I mean,
Mhm.
I'm
Talking about this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming that's what those are.
Yeah,
We wouldn't allow that anywhere.
no.
So they're starting from square one with that that pylon sign.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to find a way to get them to maybe do that, because it is just really bad.
It would be nice to see them redo that as a 20-foot sign in compliance, a new sign that looked good, but I don't know if they're gonna be willing to spend the money to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not something J.C. Licht would take on. It would have to be the landlord. They would have to propose that. They just wanted their name on the top of that. So I think this is as far as that's gonna go unless they can get the landlord to.
Yeah, oh, sure, yeah. Yeah, I wasn't thinking J.C. Licht would pay for that new sign. It's just for the landowner, you know.
Yeah, it's old and kind of ugly.
Oh, yeah. Should we make a motion?
You know,
And they
before you
support
make
that,
that
or-
motion, I mean, I think whoever suggested it, to at least direct people around to that other entrance by running the bushes around the corner, putting a sidewalk over there, extend, you know, from the sidewalk to there. And again, I have a feeling that 99% of the people are gonna use the door that they've always used. So this is just a big daylight collector, which is fine. But, let's dress up that side of the building, as long as they're going to all this expense.
So before you vote, so what so the front sign has to be changed. That's what and then it's contingent upon getting that second sign. They'll have to add a sidewalk and some sort of landscaping.
No, I'm not saying the second sign is contingent on that, I'm just suggesting that they take a hard look at that.
Okay.
Because we never did see a site plan on this, and I think they will probably never had the intention of doing anything to the site.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I was originally, they were gonna move to the other side of the building here, and then all of a sudden they said it'll be remodeled and put a big entrance in, so this is all new to me.
So anyway, does somebody want to try and put together a motion here?
I will try. Do we address the entrance or we just leave that? Or is that just as, something that we suggest?
You mean as far as the groundwork?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, I would just suggest that.
okay,
We don't even know who owns that. I mean, they're tenants in the
Yeah.
building. They're not-
right. Yeah, sure. Yeah, oh, that's very true. And are we recommending or approving, Mike? I'm sorry.
recommending,
It looks like we're approving.
recommending,
Oh, oh, is it? Okay.
yep.
We recommend to approve the new second sign on the east face, contingent on replacing the existing sign with a matching sign, and both of those signs will align with the top of the new entrance on the east side.
Okay.
Everybody got that? Any comments on,
Do you need to make sure you say with the reduced square footage?
Yeah, with the proposed, reduced square footage, from the, is that east elevation?
Yeah, 36 square feet each.
Yeah,
So,
so that they match.
match?
Yep,
Yeah, we want those to match.
yep.
And the sign has to have an opaque background. That's the code, right? Just the letters can illuminate, the whole face can't illuminate, right?
No.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
You need a second?
Yes.
I second it.
Oh, sorry.
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 Was that Julie who seconded?
Sounded like Julie.
Okay,
Yes, it was me.
okay, thank you. Ready for a roll call?
Roll call, Mike.
Okay.
Yep.
Member Deegan,
Aye.
Member Dittmer,
Aye.
Member Callahan,
Aye.
Member Kerouac,
Aye.
Member Waymeyer,
Aye.
and Chair Hunter.
Right.
Okay, the recommendation passes. We'll put it on the agenda for the village board for final approval. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, next is the consideration of sign permit application for Target at 975 Rockland Road. Kind of a funny one.
Okay, and we have Gary Potts from the sign company on the call. Gary, go ahead and give us your presentation.
Good evening. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Gary Potts. I am the owner of Professional Permits. I'm here tonight representing Target and the sign company. What we have done here is replace the faces on the two monument signs with, they call them, it's a Panaflex face, and it stretches, it's more of a stretchy material versus the rigid aluminum. And just replaced like for like as far as size of the signs go on both elevations. And that is it. I understand that they were installed prior to getting a permit, which we do apologize. Simply a misunderstanding on face replacements for what is allowed in the code. And so now we are retroactively asking for approval of these signs.
And so just for the ABR's information, you do have the power for final approval tonight. There was, variances granted originally for the signs, but the code says in this situation, you can do a face change without, for an existing tenant that's currently on the sign, without asking for the variance again. So you do have final approval authority.
So Mike, I have a question. Is the Panaflex, this new material, is that an approved material for the sign?
Well, it wasn't, there's, it wasn't the material that was approved previously for the sign, so this would be a new approval if the ABR decides to approve it. There's tenant sign criteria for the outlots that were approved that allow them to just come through for permit, but those criteria were only written for the outlots, so Target, didn't really have a sign criteria that allowed them to just swap things out without coming to the ABR for approval, unlike the outlots. So aluminum is what was approved originally, but any new sign for Target would come back for approval regardless of the material.
Well, just as a matter of information, I happened to be driving by as they were doing that, and two things. One, I like the red better than the stark white of the sign that was there. And they were stretching this material, and I thought, what are they doing? Well, that's what they were doing. And it looks pretty slick to me. So I don't know if it's brand new technology since the original sign was done, but
It is fairly new technology, and as a matter of fact, they have ability to take that material and just run it right through a printer and print whatever sign they want to put right on that material and then stretch it out.
yeah. So anyway, comments?
I have no comments. Looks good.
Other comments?
Nobody else?
No, looks good to me.
Well, it's the new Target symbol. It's everywhere. Anyway, okay, well, if nobody's got any comments, then somebody else needs to make a motion and second it.
I make a motion to approve the proposed signage with the requested sign code exemptions.
Second.
Okay. Any other comments? Nope. Mike?
Okay.
Fire away.
Sure. Member Dittmer,
Aye.
a member Callahan,
Aye.
a member Kerouac,
Aye.
a member Waymeyer, and Member Deegan,
Aye.
and Chair Hunter.
Aye.
Okay, the signs are approved. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Sure, you're welcome.
Okay, next is, Mike, your new light that you got up there.
Yeah, so well, first of all, I did replace all the bulbs along the conference room on the west side of the building, so they're all a warm white bulb like the other, same color temperature as other bulbs. And then I had an electrician replace the one light under the canopy, the western of the four lights, with a this RAB light that looks basically like a cylinder. They describe it as a floodlight, but it looks like a cylinder there, and that's kind of okay. But maybe it has a few disadvantages. It does kind of show off imperfections in the stucco there, and makes me realize I should probably get our stucco guy back in the spring to correct a couple of the larger imperfections. But it's still kind of shining a light like that on a smooth surface always does tend to highlight the imperfections a little bit. So I was thinking maybe we should consider a small globe, and the one that's in the packet could be turned upside down, so globe up, and the 9-inch measurement there is not the circular diameter of the globe, but the whole dimension from the bottom of the globe to the top of that cover plate there. So it would be a relatively small-sized globe is something that would radiate light more evenly and not highlight imperfections in the stucco. So what do you guys think about those two different lights, the one up there and the alternative I'm suggesting?
Can you indicate again, I'm sorry, I know you've done this before, but where would that globe light go? Is it above the, the trim board above the brick? Is it
yes.
underneath the canopy?
Yes, right, the lights are, and I'm sorry, I didn't re-include, there is a photo here in the packet, but yeah, it's hard to see in the photo. It is
Right.
just above that trim board. Yeah, it is just above
Yeah.
that trim board.
And there's 4 of them?
Correct.
How many
Correct.
would you have?
There are 4 lights currently, so I was thinking we would
Yeah.
replace all 4 with the new light.
Yeah. So my concern is that I don't think that's the appropriate application for that. I think you're right that the light distribution may be a little bit better, but I think it would look a little odd to have like those globe lights that we have, the primary lights on the building, and then like a secondary globe up above. The spots kind of are functional, is kind of form follows function on that light structure. People expect that to be kind of a directional light, whereas I think the globe is going to look like we have 4 other sconces on the building for some odd, in a weird location.
Mm-hmm. So you think the one I put up is okay? You'd be okay with doing all 4 with that one?
Yeah, and maybe it's a different one that spreads the light. There are ways to control the light beam, either
Clamp it down.
clamp it down, yeah.
Not as powerful, because that looks like that's what the issue is. It looks like it's pretty hot. So.
Yeah, I would maybe put a smaller wattage in there, but it's the more appropriate fixture type for that application.
Okay.
I think the first thing I noticed though was the imperfections in the stucco.
Right.
I mean, anytime you sidelight any kind of a wall, that's what you get.
Yeah.
If it's got imperfections, it really highlights it, and that I had no idea.
Bob, are you still speaking? We suddenly can't hear you. You may have moved too far from your microphone if you're still talking.
But of course, nobody was there. But I remember we thought they were too hot, or they were too, what was the complaint on the first set? The three of them are still there.
Well, the problem with the first set is that the bulbs there burn out really quickly, and it only takes a halogen bulb, so you can't put an LED into that existing fixture. So, it's tiny little set screws that are difficult to, you have to take the glass lens off to get to the bulb with tiny little set screws that are kind of rusting
Those are
into
the
the thing.
original first set.
So-
I'm talking about the one that you replaced it with. Okay, so the ones that are still on the wall, those are the ones that were originally done.
Yeah, right, there's three old ones. I assume they're from the 89 remodel.
Okay,
Yep.
so I'm talking about the one that you replaced last time around when you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I'm sorry, your question about that one was?
Yeah, well, if you had to compare those two, I don't remember the other one, other than it seemed like it made some real hot spots.
Yeah, if I had to compare the one I just put up a couple weeks ago with the old ones that had been up there. You're asking as far as lighting?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. That is a good question. The new one does seem to graze the wall a little more and perhaps highlight that the stucco imperfection slightly more. The old one was maybe a little bit spread wider, but they were not too far apart, I would say, in light distribution.
They do make exterior LED strip lights, that you could kind of run along that and just kind of wash that wall. There's others, I don't know if that's a more heroic solution versus just putting lights in existing junction boxes, but
Right.
there is like newer technology out there to do this kind of lighting.
Right.
And I don't know if that's something you want to get into.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that either. It certainly makes it a little more complicated when you have to do something other than use existing junction boxes.
Right. And I get that, but
Yep.
just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, right.
So
It's
is
a good
there a
thought.
way to lamp this thing down?
Well, so the fixtures, this is the lowest wattage fixture of this type available. There's no bulb replacement. It's LEDs built into this fixture. It would be possible to put it on a dimmer, but the problem with that is it was put on the same circuit with all the other exterior lighting on the building, just one switch, one circuit for everything. So you have to rewire everything to put a dimmer on it. So yeah, it wasn't really in the scope of what we were trying to do either, unfortunately.
Now, the other two lights under the windows, they're not obviously going to show imperfections. I don't know what they're going to do. But then the first one that's on the plaster, what's that plaster like? That's stucco.
It doesn't have any big imperfections that I can see so far, but I'm sure there'd be some real small ones when we graze it, I assume.
Somebody else talk about it.
I think if you use that fixture and it's probably a nightmare to dim it because you have to rewire things, but I think dimming it would solve the problem. And you wouldn't have to redo the plaster. Because I think the fixture is the right fixture. I agree with Matt.
Okay. Okay, well, that's good to know.
That's my 2 cents.
Is there any way to put a filter over that? Tone it down that way?
That's a good question. I bet it is possible. It's got to be a possibility.
It's a neat little fixture.
Yeah. Lasts for at least 50,000 hours too, they say.
There you go.
Okay, well, if that's, we weren't looking for any motion or vote, so if that's everybody's comments, that's good feedback. It sounds like we're settling on that's the right fixture, we should just dim it as a, recommendation.
Yep.
And the filter may be a good idea for a way to do that. Well, I'll look into that. Okay. Well, thanks for your feedback, everybody, on that. That was helpful.
You're gonna leave it up there?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what else have we got?
That is it. I have nothing else.
Everybody healthy?
All good?
Yep.
All right, well, I really don't like this Zoom stuff. Okay, well, then I guess, somebody has to say, can we adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
All right,
Second.
A second.
All in favor, aye. Merry Christmas, everybody. Won't see you until next year.
Yep.
Good.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yep. Take care,
Bye.
everybody. Good to
Bye.
see you.